we're back here on a Tuesday night edition here on Couch Coach Live under the lights. What's going on, Mallory?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Not much, man. Same old, just working. Just continue the grind.
Yeah, yeah, same here, same here.
Yeah,
So
man.
much stuff, man. It's
Got
been a few weeks, man. What you got new
yeah.
going
ev-
on?
In the post Super Bowl, yeah, it's been just honestly, this been a good time just to kind of relax, kind of get
Yeah.
some relax. And then obviously you got March Madness coming up and all that type,
Hmm.
stuff in free agency. So it's just a good time just to kind of just relax for a week or two and just kind of then back to the grind of the spring sports and all that, and also the continuation of the winter sports. But yeah, man, it's just
Okay.
once again, it's a always a this time of year is funny. I always look at it like there's never really an off season in
Hmm.
anything. Obviously, we really primarily talk a lot of football on here, but still other seasons exist, and so we're
Hmm.
still we like today we'll talk a little bit more NBA than we would typically do. So we'll talk about that, and actually we actually gonna lead off the show. So yeah, great show to line up for you today. We'll dive in first about uh Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather round number not round number two, but yeah, round number two essentially. We'll talk about that. Um Asking the age old question, probably at least one of the question that's as far as that's been sparking debate as of late of NBA coaches wearing suits. Should they go back to that? We'll talk about Charles Barkley and his thoughts on tanking, which I definitely thought he had a great take on. I know Adam Silver has proposed some plans, but he hasn't really established any plans. So how he going to do as far as combating anti and I forgot what's called anti tanking. And
Hmm.
then also we'll round off with our thoughts on the passing of Rondale Moore, and also round out with our game ball and final thoughts. So first, before we get started, this week's Couch Coach Live is powered by SeatGeek. Head to SeatGeek.com. Use our promo code CouchCoach. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase. So let's talk about this interesting fight in September. Where we have Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, number two. So this is going to be a matchup of Floyd Mayweather, who will be 48 years old, versus Manny Pacquiao, who will be 47. So always great to see two 40-year-olds duke it out in the ring. So that'll be September 19th at the Las Vegas Sphere, which I think is going to be a
Yeah.
really great venue.
Yeah.
And that'll be on Netflix. So Mayweather is 50-0. He
Hmm.
retired as a professional boxer in 2017, but he's had several exhibition fights, including his matchup with Jake Paul, and also he'll be having one with Mike Tyson. What is that, in April? I think my
Hmm.
memory serves correct. I think it's going to be soon. And
Hmm.
then Manny Pacquiao is 62, 8-3 in his professional career. In 2015, when they squared off, this was deemed as the fight of the century. Had $4.6 million, 4.6 million pay-per-view buys. So, what's your thoughts on Pacquiao versus Money Mayweather 2? What you got?
Um, I remember the first one. I was in Arizona and it shut down the airports. Like it was the internet. It was something different. You know what I mean? The energy was just something different. Um, and Mayweather fights do that. Like it's almost like it takes you back to the because you either love him or hate him, and it's always so split when you have fight parties or you go to places to watch the fight. Um, to piggyback on your question, I'm really wasn't. I knew he was going to come back because not before his supposedly financial issues and things of that nature. I knew once they were getting to a place where a platform where money was going to be not a major issue like a Netflix, because there's no Showtime boxing anymore, there's no HBO boxing anymore, there's no ESPN boxing anymore. Most of it is up and coming promotion like pro boxing on YouTube and the Zone. There's not a lot of places to watch boxing nowadays. I remember one time Adrian Broner said he thought it might be on Twitter or X. So once I saw Jake Paul was making money, and then um, the Crawford and Canelo fight and how big it was and how over the top they made it, I think everybody was extremely satisfied with the fight majority. I knew Floyd was most likely going to come back. If you pay attention to, you know, most sports like that, like even UFC, a big guy that retired that has an O, if there's major money there, they're going to come back. So I really didn't like the fight at first, but the simple fact that it's on Netflix and it's going to be at that arena, I'm extremely excited. I think it's going to be a wipeout though, because I think Manny kept fighting and how he fights. And there's some fighters that beat him that should have never had beat Manny. Is supposed to be as great as he was. I mean, as he is. Um, and I think Floyd, he didn't take a lot of damage. And even in his early training right now, he's looking extremely sharp, like he hasn't lost a beat. Let me ask you. You're kind of like you're not a big fan of boxing. How do you feel about something like this? Would it be
Yeah,
something you
like you
would want to
said,
watch?
I'm a casual at best, and I
Yeah.
definitely was something that's really interesting, especially considering the fact the timing of it. It would be kind of
Hmm.
sandwiched in between like college football, so I think it's gonna
Hmm.
be one of the things where it's like, oh, it's gonna be a great weekend of college
Hmm.
football, and then this would, pretty much would be like the nightcap of that Saturday night. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm really curious. It's one of the things where I would love to be in Las Vegas that weekend, just the hysteria and the hype
Hmm.
of it. Just the fact that what we showing outside the sphere, like will they actually? I know they're not going to show the fight, but it's kind of one of the things. What will be on display during the
Hmm.
fight at the sphere, which I think that's really a very fascinating
Yeah.
building, and the fact to have it in that facility. And I know that's going to be a premium ticket to have.
Hmm.
To go to Spear. But yeah, I think it'll be like you said, it draws attention. And like you said, either hate or love, Floyd Mayweather. There are gonna be people that's gonna watch it to like it, and then wants to hate watch. So he has that type of effect. It's almost like the Tiger Woods effect, or even
Hmm.
the Mike Tyson
Yeah.
effect, where even
Yeah.
casuals, people that don't really watch the sport, but like you said, there'll
Hmm.
be tons of fight parties,
Hmm.
tons of different types of events centered around it. Like restaurants will probably have showing the
Hmm.
fight, like almost like when Mike Tyson when he fought Jake Paul what a year or two ago, and
Hmm.
we were out that it was on a Friday night and it was out and everybody was watching the fight. It's just one of those things where it brings that draw. It may not be the best fight as far as but it's just one of those things that it's going to bring that draw. And I definitely think it's going to be something that many people will watch. And then the fact that it's going to be on Netflix, that's another thing too, where you don't necessarily have to do the pay-per-view thing anymore, where you could
Yeah.
just that you
They're
probably
going
will
to
get a
watch
rate
it.
hike before they're gonna watch it, and trust me, your Netflix bill will be a little bit higher by the time we get here in September. You think you'll get away with that $7.99 fee? Oh no, no one's grandfathered no more to Netflix.
Well,
You're gonna yeah.
there's a lot of people left Netflix, and Netflix, from what I've heard, is really a logistic data company or something like that. They were saying, and they were like, it's more about how can we get you to continuously pay monthly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're trying to get all these different things to make sure you're watching Netflix. And truth be told, they are the best because
Yeah.
people give a lot of things a chance that they wouldn't give a chance on anything, any other platform, probably except for YouTube. You know what I mean? So I'm with what you're saying, but I'm gonna tell you something. And I know I got your respect when it come to this boxing game because I did some work years ago and I realized there was all these different agencies coming together. This is part of it. They have been trying to figure out a way to move from the old and be to the new. Like PBC is on Prime. Like I said, you got the Jones. So Golden Boy Promotion, which is Oscar De La Hoya. PBC is basically Al Heyman, the concert promoter, but also they're doing a deal. They're both doing a deal with Netflix. And PBC, like I say, PBC is with Prime because Keith Thurman is going to have a fight in about a month. You know what I mean? So they realize Netflix is the place that people are going to give anything a chance. Some people might not even like boxing, but they're going to watch it. They're going to watch it really from the beginning to the end sometimes. You know what I mean? They'll see some fighters that they didn't even, oh, this is a good fight, just like UFC. Some people just watch UFC just to be watching UFC or MMA fighting. Don't even know who the fighters are. You know what I mean? And to me, most sports, that's what you want. You want it for the love of the entertainment of the competition. So like some people they watch old basketball or football games because they just love the sport. You know what I mean? Some people just watch it, the sport, just for sports. So I'm happy. That's why I said once I seen it was on Netflix, I was like, oh, I'm so happy. And I'm happy Floyd coming back because boxing do need Floyd. You know what I mean? They really do. They need him in the ring. They don't need him talking. They don't need him being, commentating. They need him in the ring at least until, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the money is eventually gonna be him and Crawford.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just believe that's where it's gonna go. And some people say, well, he's too old. All I'm gonna say is Hagler and Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray
Yeah.
retired. And he came back for one fight, and it was against Hagler. You see what I'm saying? Sugar Ray won. Hagler disappeared. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah. And George Foreman, I think, well, he fought like at 50.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, like you said, you're gonna see that, and like you said, yeah, I don't think we want Floyd reading off a teleprompter. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Hey, hey, hey.
I mean, you got
It's
a
too
point.
it's too early, coach.
You gave me the alley hoop. I mean, what else am I
Right.
supposed to do with it? Like, you, I mean,
I,
yeah, but yeah. Mhm.
I will say this real quick. The Mike Tyson fight, I think most people don't want to see him fight Mike Tyson, especially after the Jake Paul. But you know what? He could have fought Roy. He could have went and did a celebrity exhibition with Roy Jones because him and Roy Jones a few months ago had some major issues. You know what I mean? And I think the
Mhm.
fight would already been promoted. And I think it would have been bigger than this Tyson one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. So to get the final word on Mayweather versus Pacquiao, we got to bring in our guy X. I think X is now in the queue, and I think he's ready. Let me get X in. All right, what's going on, X?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing tonight?
Good, man.
Hey X,
So,
What's up,
mhm.
man?
X go give it to you. He go get it. My bad, my bad.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on Mayweather versus Pacquiao Part Two?
Um, my honest opinion, this fight really doesn't really do anything to change. I feel like it honestly doesn't really do anything for Pacquiao. Um, as far as taking the L. Um, but if Floyd was to take the L, I think it it kind of impacts his legacy because he kind of built his legacy on 50 and 0, and if he was to lose that I think it'll it'll kind of put a chink in his armor. But as far as, I don't think it'll be nothing really major. It'll be a hot topic and talking point on other outlets, other sports media outlets for a good little while. But what, Floyd is what, 53? Pacquiao is up there in age. Um,
53.
he's in his 50s, right?
Nah,
Floyd.
nah.
That's
Floyd only 48.
that's so
My
disrespectful, man.
fault, my fault,
Yeah,
my fault,
yeah,
my fault.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
I,
Floyd
I, I,
48. Yeah, I
I
know.
jumped the gun.
But he been around so long. You would think he in his 50s for sure. Yeah, I agree on that.
Seriously.
Well, like I said, I feel like this fight is 10 plus years too late for happening. You got both guys. I mean, Floyd's still in shape. He's still from what I see videos and clips and stuff, he's still in the boxing ring every day or doing some type of training every day. So he's in shape, but is he still the Floyd that we remember him as being? And you can ask the same question about Pacquiao. Is he the same? So I mean, money wise, it's a smart play, but competitively, I don't. I'm not really moved by it. I mean, I'm going to watch it, but I'm not like eager to really see it like I was in their first matchup. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yo. So we'll go to the association, fellas. As we all know, Pat Riley was his statue was unveiled in Crypto Arena. It was a fa- 500-pound bronze statue. Him essentially wearing a Marnie suit in his in essentially in his statue. And somebody did ask him after the unveiling of his statue, as far as his thoughts on just his current coach's wardrobe. So pretty much, they asked him if he was coaching today, would he bring the Armani suits back, or would he have a quarter zip/polo? So Pat Riley said, "I wish they went back to coats and ties." Said Riley later during the press conference. I think an audience wants to see somebody on the sidelines who looks like a leader, dressed like a leader, and acts like a leader. What you guys' thoughts on on Raul's comments, aka the cookie stealer? I'm gonna go to you first, Mal. What you got?
You said Maui, right? I mean, he's just representing who he is.
Yeah.
Excuse me, fellas. And, he's an old school guy that go hard, and he like to look. He like to look sharp. That's who you are, Pat Riley. You know what I mean? Nowadays, not first off, because my dad is a very big critic when it comes to people that wear, suits like handkerchiefs, their jackets, all of that. Not everybody can wear a suit like Ric Flair or um Pat Riley. You know what I mean? And some of them wear the suit, even knowing when we watch some of these fights, you know what I mean? And just let everybody be comfortable. I don't, I like them better like this. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it back in the day, certain things was a certain way, but I like them not wearing tie. They should be to me. If they're not going to do that, they should be able to wear what they want, long as it's respectable.
Yeah. All right. What you got, X? What's your thoughts?
my answer is no. Pretty much, the league has evolved. Um,
Thank you.
players are pretty much like their own brand now. Every player is like is like becoming their own brand.
Right.
Coaches are more integrated with the players' culture. Um, so now you see coaches in polos and athletic gear. It kind of makes more sense now, especially with this style of play that we're watching here lately in the NBA. So um, my thing is wearing a suit really doesn't do anything for the coaches. I mean, it's just all about it's just a look. Um, suits are pretty much like I'm not trying to downgrade or disrespect anyone that loves to wear suits. So especially like for coaches, the suit represents like a corporate profession. In today's NBA, players represent player empowerment and modern branding. So, in my opinion, the game really doesn't lose any credibility when coaches don't wear the suits. They're still wearing um, the team's logo, and the NBA logo. So you're not really losing anything as far as the NBA. You're kind of pretty much gaining money because now you're starting to see like um Fanatics, Nike, places like that sell like the coaches gear, like the quarter zip.
Right.
So and like now for some reason quarter zips is now a thing. So so you're starting to see more and more quarter zips. But like I said, me personally, I feel no type of way if a coach wears a suit or if he doesn't wear a suit. And if you think about it, back in the day in the NFL, coaches on the sideline used to wear suits, but now you see coaches in team gear, polos, um, athletic
Short sleeve
wear,
hoodies. Short
short
sleeve
sleeve
hoodie.
hoodies, short sleeve hoodies, long sleeve, dry fits, and they also and pretty much every coach wears a hat or a beanie with the team logo on it. And what comes with that logo also comes with the NFL shield, and just like the NBA, it comes with the logo.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much you're pushing merch and you're putting merch out there for fans to see and be like, oh man, I want that. It's pretty much the coach wearing like a quarter zip instead of the suit. Like it's like a jersey for the coach. And fans sometimes don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a jersey. Maybe they don't want to spend money on a player's jersey because 9 times out of 10 that player might leave the team and then you stuck with
Mm-hmm.
that jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe someone feels more comfortable going out buying like something that they saw the coach wear, like a hat, quarter zip with the team logo on. Like I said, it to me it doesn't hurt anything, and and I also feel like um, when it comes to leadership, authority comes from leadership, not a blazer. That's just my opinion.
Oh, right.
I agree. Yeah, I'm one of those ones where I think it's your choice. I do like
Mm-hmm.
the comfort look. Like I said, for instance, like when they honor Pat Riley with the statue and they said third, it's okay to maybe dress up for that game, or there's certain nights that you want to dress
Mm-hmm.
up and that's your choice. Like say for instance, if you're retiring a player or whatever jersey or you honoring a certain team, maybe you might want to dress up that day, this, that, and third. But I am cool with the athletic wear. Like you said, like the NFL the same way. Yeah, they used to wear suits back in the day, but now you've seen them kind of transcend to have their own type of merchandise. And actually, you see this a lot. You know who really I thought really who does a great job? Who's like he's like the Pat Riley of the quarter zip is Ryan Odom. All the ones that he like the ones, especially when he was here at VCU, all the different types of quarter zips that he had. And I like, man, I was like, I literally would go out here and buy them because they just it looks stylish. It looks like something that I could just wear anytime. It don't necessarily have to be like an athletic. Yeah, I could wear that to work. I can wear that on a date night. I can wear that, different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad you said Ryan Odom because like I said, but here lately since he's been at UVA, he's been in a suit. So I don't know if it's like a school,
Yeah.
like if it's like because of the different schools and they got
Hmm.
like dress code for the coaches on the sideline. But lately, I don't think I've seen him thus far this season in a UVA, any type of UVA paraphernalia, other than
Yeah.
the colorway of the suit is a navy blue suit.
Yeah, because when he was here, like he would always have different types of colorways. He had like even vintage ones. Like I was like, man, that's kind of cool. But yeah, and like I said, I don't necessarily have a problem with guys, wearing like the quarter zips and this because it's just athletic gear. Like you said, when it comes to the coaching, just because you wear a certain thing that doesn't command respect, and like now we just live in a day and time where, the dress isn't necessarily the key. Like obviously, as far as the character of the coach, yeah, you can be a shitty coach, but yeah, you can wear a Armani suit, but you're a terrible coach. You can be, a Hall of Fame caliber coach, and you're wearing a quarter zip. It's all about like the message that you convey to your team, this and the third, because there's tons of coaches that we've seen that are no longer coaches that wear, just regular stuff, and we've seen coaches in the past that wear suits, and they're not coaching, they're protecting the team. So
Mm-hmm.
I just think, as long as you're comfortable with what you're wearing, I mean, and that's cool. I think it's all about is the comfort level, and it's just the when it boils down to that. So like to me, I'm cool with, hey, if you want it'll be your choice. If there's a special night that you want to do, like I don't like the NBA doing thing. I know like with the coaches, in college basketball when they do coach versus cancel where they'll wear a suit with sneakers, like those type of theme nights or this and the third, and that'll be kind of a way that they can kind of sell it to their, to the, to the fans for that particular night. Hey, this is gonna be the night where the coach gonna wear a suit and we all gonna be dressed up or whatever this and the third. But I'm cool with them with the quarter zips and the athletic gear. I think it's kind of cool, like you said, and it'd be a kind of another way for you to be a part of the team where you can purchase those things and be like, yeah, man, what you see, coach wearing, I'm wearing it. Like I'm on the night of town, I'm go to the restaurant in town. Oh yeah, you got the same quarter zip as Phil Martelli Jr., or whoever. But yeah.
And piggyback on that leadership thing, he took my boy's cookies. You knew he not should be taking
the cookie
nobody.
thief.
I mean, seriously though, B.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You just gonna take his chocolate chip because and that goes with it's my rules and y'all need to implement my rules. These are professional basketball. It's top notch, and you taking their food because there should be no food on the plane. Since when? You know what I mean? Anyway,
In
my
his
bad.
prime, in his prime,
Yeah.
in his prime. Now, okay, I ain't gonna put nobody's name out, but there were some guys who had more than 4% body fat. Man, yeah, maybe take their cookies away, but not LeBron James. Like that dude was in his prime.
And
Like,
you was the coach for the Knicks, and I know they did some wild stuff back. And you was the coach for the Showtime Lakers.
yeah.
You can't have no cookies, but you can have all that other stuff on that bus, huh? Come on, man.
Or be at the Forum Club.
Yeah, like come
leave that
on,
alone.
man. You just did that. I know, but I'm gonna let that go.
What your boy Donald Sterling said? He made love to all the women in town. That's wild, man. I swear, man. That's insane, bro. Like that's so crazy, man. But yeah, man. And you see how LeBron was like when they did like the honors and all that stuff. He was just like chilling. It was so funny. Like I was like, man, that's perfect. I don't blame him. I ain't, that's personal because yeah, you take something like that away, yeah. And D Wade, he was dead right. He was like, that's the reason. That's when I knew he wasn't coming back.
Yeah, so you didn't even think about the guys that was loyal to you, like D Wade. D Wade always had injury issues, and something as small as chocolate chip. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, guys like LeBron James that's been big probably their whole life. They have a certain diet that they have. Because I remember watching The Rock when he was in this movie, and he was more bulky. And he was saying his diet was he would eat like donuts. He would work out. He would eat like a dozen of glazed donuts. They had a unique, and like he eats these real thick French toast. That's like his cheat. You know what I'm saying? So they have a certain way their diet is. So why would you why would you do that? Just to try to prove? Just to try to prove something?
Power tripping.
Right. Yet again, the man with the Armani suit, hey.
That's probably
That's why I always love that bubble championship. Oh.
Yeah. And that's where it started. That's where all it started. The athletic gear started there.
Right. And I loved everything about it.
And it's probably one of the reasons why they can't really get a top free agent to come down there because of.
Yeah. He did Jimmy Butler wrong. He really did. He did some things with Jimmy Butler that really wasn't cool.
Yeah. Hey, right. And you never know with Pat. Who knows?
It's funny watching that series about the Lakers, to see the stuff that Magic was dealing with. I know it was a series, but it was a lot of stuff Magic was dealing with some of the coaches based upon, and Pat Riley was the assistant, so he would have to talk to Magic and things of that nature because Magic was a young man that played a specific way. So he got veterans, he got all these dudes, you know what I'm saying, and trying to be this new face with this new owner. There was a lot of things going on. So you would think, I was just saying in general, you would think Pat Riley would know a little bit better.
Yeah, but you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Right.
So he gonna be who he is. I think Pat, he just turned 80. Matter of fact,
You think that's his real hair?
mm,
Go ahead, X. That's right. X
to be
laugh.
determined.
That's funny.
I'm
Wait.
To be determined. I mean, I'm not at liberty. I'm not at liberty to say my. I don't know. It's a family show.
Right.
It'll be followed with a particularly an expletive followed with a verb. So no, I don't. I'm not sure.
Right.
So family show. So. So staying in the association, fellas. So Charles Barkley, and it's obviously during the course, maybe right before All-Star Weekend, I know there was a situation, Utah versus Orlando, where pretty much Utah kind of rested their starters in a fourth quarter matchup, essentially where the guy should have been in. I know a lot of people were talking about this whole tanking because obviously this is going to be such a rich draft class, and so Adam Silver was talking about that there was going to be a possibility of him implementing some anti-tampering rules and what have you. But I found Charles Barkley commentary on Inside the NBA this weekend to be really interesting because he had 3 points as far as his ideas to combat tanking. So first, Barkley points out that if your team falls under 500, then you as a franchise cannot raise ticket prices. A fair idea as it incentivizes owners to field a competitive roster to keep their revenue as high as possible. That's the first one. Secondly, you should simplify the draft lottery. The NBA uses a lottery system. Each team has a varying number of actual ping pong balls that represent their odds. So in theory, the worse that you are, the more balls you have and more likely to win the number one draft pick. So instead, you reduce the number of ping pong balls to just one per team, making the odds the same for every club that didn't make the playoffs, regardless of their final record. So teams that would have to try to tank will now have no reason to field terrible rosters. And then third, no more trading partial picks. In the NBA, you can trade a draft pick, but not really. Teams can put protections in place that guarantee the pick to return them if it falls inside a certain range. So, an example, the Utah Jazz, for instance, traded away their 2026 NBA draft pick. They, however, put a protection on that pick. So if the Jazz pick 8th or sooner in the upcoming draft, they can keep that pick. So if it falls to 9th or later, they lose it. So getting rid of protections eliminated the Jazz current mockery of this game that you trade the pick, you lose the pick. So we got thoughts on Charles Barkley's essentially his 3 points, his 3 ideas as far as to end tanking. What you guys thoughts on it? I'm gonna go with you first, X. What you
got? In my opinion, he's emotionally right, but strategically wrong. Man, honestly, tanking is you hate to say it, but it's part of sports now because everybody is jockeying for position to land that top prospect, regardless if it's NBA or NFL. It just so happened with the NBA, it's a draft lottery. So if you have the worst record, it's not always guaranteed you're gonna get the first pick. We've seen that happen countless of times. But it's also kind of fluky and tricky because we saw last year with the Mavericks, they traded away Luka, their best player, to the Lakers, but then turn around in the summer and win the draft lottery and get the number one pick.
Mm.
So they just jump started their rebuild for the future. So um as far as you said lowering ticket prices. Oh no, they can't increase ticket
They can't
prices.
increase it. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, honestly, ticket prices are already sky high as it is.
Right.
It's like they trying to outprice. I feel like they're trying to outprice the diehard fans and try to bring in more just to get just. I think they're just trying to outprice the diehard fans because the diehard fans are the ones that breathe life into these arenas.
Right.
You, um, you, yeah, people come, but just anybody's not going to be invested into the game. It's those, like I said, those diehard fans that bring the energy, that bring the life into the building. It's those people that the players, the team, they feed off of. They feed off their energy, and it can either work for the home team. Hell, it can even work for the road team. Um, and then if you also if you're a bad team and you're just constantly tanking, but you have no direction, like what are you doing? You kind of saw that with when Philly was in their stages of trust the process. Um, they believed they was working a process where they constantly lose games, end up with the number one pick. They got what was it? Joel Embiid in one draft, Ben Simmons in another draft, and Markelle Fultz. Two of those players aren't even on the team anymore. And one player I don't even think is even in the league anymore at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you got another one that's hobbling in and out of the league, well, in and out of games as we speak. So it, it's not a good thing. Tank, like I said, tank is not a good thing. But it's kind of part of sports now. It's something we're used to seeing. It's just it's just so blatant now that it's like teams don't care that we can actually see that they are tanking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of it's kind of disrespectful to the game because they're all professionals and you're making so much money and you're getting paid to to go out there and play professional basketball. You guys are the best basketball players on the planet,
Right.
but y'all going out there and it's like y'all just out there with no direction and some like I said, though sometimes those lottery balls go in your favor, but then again sometimes it don't.
Yeah.
But the only good thing about it is that this draft, like you said, coach, is so rich filled with talent. Regardless of where you land, you can potentially pick your future superstar. From I'm just gonna throw a couple names out there from AJ DeBanza to Darren Peterson, Darius Acup Jr., um, Caleb Wilson, just to name a few. Like it's plenty of guys and there's plenty of talent in this draft pool this year. Where I feel like tanking just for the number one pick is unnecessary. And also, I forgot Cam Boozer. Don't want to be disrespectful.
Oh, you
So,
can. You know. No.
but yeah, that's all I got. Go.
But yeah, I think to kind of piggyback on your point momentarily, just like how Utah, you see how they protect theirs a top 8 because it's that rich where if they fall to ninth, they don't care. But like there's legitimately 8 guys that could potentially be in this draft that can make an immediate impact. And like you see how they put that provision that top 8 protected, that was for a reason. But what was your thoughts, Val?
I mean, I'm happy that he's saying it. At least they're talking about it. And he first thing he said was, let's not act like tanking is not in sports. It's all they've always tanked. My thing is, some people, and y'all may not be. I just feel like they kind of it makes the players look some type of way, but it's not the players. You know what I mean? It's the organization. It's the coaches or the organization or the GMs is telling the coaches that sit those guys down, because it's even more than that. Like some of the guys they may want to trade and they won't let them play so they can get their averages to a certain just in case they get re-signed. They go it's so much more to it. And then even if they are tanking to get these positions to get like you said, there's a bunch of talent that's coming. You don't even know if they're going to draft them. They may go overseas and draft a bunch of guys that we don't even know, because there's a lot of guys in the year Bronny went in, there was a bunch of guys that people was talking about, and I'm thinking they gonna make it to the league, and all these foreign dudes end up coming getting picked way before. Like, what's my man that played for UConn, that played for the center, that plays for
Oh,
Memphis?
Edie.
Hey,
Well, he
Edie,
played for
right?
Purdue. Yeah, he was at
He
Purdue.
played. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Purdue. I'm sorry,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like it was such a big thing about him coming, and he dropped. What was he like?
10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
he was.
but he
Yeah,
was like the biggest thing, and they was promoting him and that, and then he ended up going 10th, and then in the league, I think he may be hurt now or something, but you don't hear much about him. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like I don't understand why they really are tanking, because there's opportunity for you to make it. You have to play in tournament. Like you have ways that you still can and grow your team. It's just I don't know. It's almost like some of these coaches I don't know, and they play a specific. They seem like they're coaching and playing a specific way, and I don't know, man. I just don't understand why they're even tanking. I don't. I mean, I hear what you guys are saying, but I don't see anybody that to me is like Cooper Flag seemed like he was becoming a household name. I get that, but I don't hear a bunch of prospects that everybody like, oh man, this guy's. I don't hear that. I mean, I'm just saying to the point that you want to tank to try to get a top pick. Like even Utah got some people on their squad. Like they don't seem like they've been trying since. Um, they seem like they haven't been trying in the last 5 years. I remember around 2020, they stayed being in the top three, top four in the league, and it just seemed like once they cleaned everybody up, they got Danny Ainge. They haven't had anybody. They not even. It seem like they even trying.
yeah.
I mean, that's just. I just don't understand. I know they tanking. I hear what you guys saying. I respect your opinions. I don't understand. There's opportunity for you to at least like OKC was a play-in tournament team, and then once I think they figured out the formula. We need to start playing hard in the beginning of the season, and then they end up winning the. They were a play-in tournament team, and they just won the championship. You know what I mean? And they even saying they don't know how they're gonna keep that team together. So I just don't understand, why a lot of these teams are tanking. When there's opportunity, if they figure out put some people together that you have right now, because there's a lot of players out there. You know what I'm saying? Even in G League, you know what I mean? And put something together, and you might have a chance to make it to the playoffs. There's a lot of teams that's not as consistent as you think they are. But anyway, that's just my take. That's just my take on it.
And it's funny, like I kind of see in a weird way Utah's playing in a sense, because I think what they're trying to do, I'm gonna go back to Charles Barkley point. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's kind of one of the things like X said. It's great in theory, but this will never work. This will never work. This will never. These three things that Charles Barkley is saying is very interesting in nature,
Mm-hmm.
great to implement, but it will never happen because like the first one, no owner is going to agree to if they fall below 500 that they're not going to raise their ticket prices because they will yell and scream to the rooftop that they're losing money and they're not going to lose no money. Even seeing what's going on in the backyard at Cap One, those prices always are increasingly as the years progress, and they're going to continue to rise just like everywhere else. So nobody's going to ever going to say, hey, I'm not gonna, if I'm below 500, we ain't gonna raise no prices. We done with that. This ain't no morality. Yeah, we get these little $2-3 hamburger hot dogs like other teams, but that's the only thing they gonna give you. They not going downgrade. They're not gonna lower your ticket prices. That's for sure. The lottery system, I get what Charles is saying as far as the only having like one ping pong ball for all. I think that's the only one I think that could really work. But there still be an opportunity where I'm going to still try to, still try to lose on purpose, even regardless if the amount of it that you have. So, and like the whole protected thing, they're not going to get rid of that because like Utah, I wouldn't be dumb enough to, like I said, Utah, that's a perfect example where they have a top 8 protected pick because there's literally 8 guys in this draft that could potentially be on this that are worthy of being on the teams. And you see how those guys, what they're doing in college basketball, which just imagine what they're going to do, in these, in the NBA. So, and I get like with Utah, like I get all that. Like I get what Washington's doing, because the thing about this team is, hey, this is gonna be the year I'm gonna get my centerpiece. Once I get my centerpiece, that's who I'm gonna build around. So yes, if Utah, let's say Utah wins the lottery and they get AJ Stefancio, okay, so he's gonna be their future. So okay, we got pieces now. We got Walker Kessler. We got George, the kid that just won that championship with Florida. We got him. We got Jaren Jackson Jr. We got pieces. So if we get AJ and them pieces, we can move those pieces around and we can build around AJ. Same thing I think with Washington. I think if Washington could get Cam Boozer, just an example. Okay. Who can I build around? Okay. AD is a piece. Trae Young's a piece. So this kind of one of those years where, yes, I want to get a centerpiece. Yes, they're collecting kind of some dust, some old relics, old stuff, but they get ready to try to find a new home. Not arena-wise, but they're trying to find their centerpiece. And I think this type of year where you can build around some of these guys. And I think they're kind of just acquiring pieces, kind of hoarding in a sense, and just to create that makeup of that team, because those guys are moving again. Don't think that this whole Trae Young or Anthony Davis gonna be long-term solution in Washington, or Jaren Jackson Jr. in Utah. They get moved.
You don't think Trae Young is gonna be there long term?
I mean, he can, but it just depends. If they get like Patterson, or if they get a point guard. I mean, I'm just saying. I think there's a possibility, but if you get a point guard in this draft that just wows you, then you might be willing to get off of him. But like you said, I still think today, I think he will still be on this team regardless of who they have as their centerpiece. Because this is the draft where, hey, this is what it's going to define. This could be your team makeup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can still have Trae Young on this team, but it just depends on who they get. So that's what I think. And I think that's why I put those two as examples, because you got pieces where you can trade for and kind of build your roster. You can still get something back in return. Like, these aren't just, like, to me, like, you're hoarding. You got some good hoarding in this case. It's not just a dirty, a dirty comic book with missing pages. These are some somewhat mint condition in a bag sealed type situation. Hey, I can trade for this, I can trade for that. So I like what the Washington and Utah have been doing, as far as, although yes, those guys are gonna be sitting out for the year, and it does appear that they are tanking because their superstars are out, but that's the name of the game at this point, because no one says nothing about when San Antonio do it. When they did it in '96, I mean, they did.
That's why they doing it.
What Wemby did it in 2003? I mean, 2023.
Yeah, that's why they doing it. Right. That's why they doing it.
And didn't even look at Dallas. I think Dallas is another one where I think if you can put Cooper Flag, maybe may have a Duke brotherhood another member of the Duke Brotherhood going to Dallas with Boozer potentially there. Just imagine them two together, and then maybe Kyrie comes back, and so the possibilities are endless. So if I'm a fan base, I don't care about this year. I'm worried about who that draft lottery. The draft lottery is going to be so important. That's going to be must see TV for all the non-playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be a draft that's going to have some impact. Because you even look at college basketball. I mean, these guys are changing the trajectory of their teams in college. And and it's just and we'll talk about college basketball in the next couple of weeks or whatever, but there's a lot of freshmen on these teams that are going to make a world of difference. Even even this weekend kind of shows you, like, man, like, these guys gonna be playing deep. These guys might be in Indianapolis for the Final Four. Like, some of these guys, that freshmen that we're gonna be talking about, and so yeah, it's a little bleak and doom in these other cities, but once that draft lottery come, and you win that lottery.
I feel like any team in the lottery should be satisfied with where they land, because, like I said, you're gonna find a player. You're gonna find a cornerstone in this draft. Well, most teams are gonna find a cornerstone in this draft.
Yeah,
that's gonna help them out in the future.
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
I don't have as much faith as y'all do, because, like I said, my biggest thing been, yeah, these guys playing college and they seem like blah blah blah. Then they disappear. You be like, where they at? Then I'm watching a G League game and I'm like, well, damn, that goes such and such that they were saying gonna be this big prospect. I mean, I'm just being honest with you, man. Like, that's one of my biggest things I've been talking to people. It's like, man, it's not as many American players in the league like it used to be. It's like they're really. I didn't know anything about NBA, France or NBA Puerto Rico and all these different places where they seem like they're training them allegedly. You know what I'm saying? That I just things that I've heard. I don't know, and they seem like they've been looking more towards them than these guys that's playing in college right now.
Because they look at those guys, because if you think about it, they're already playing professionally over there, so they already, like, their bodies are already acclimated to playing against grown men,
right?
As a playing against like
the competition,
in college.
So money wise, are they? You think they making more doing that than what these guys are making in NIL money?
I think if you're like one of the top guys, you're making like good money that can compare to in comparison with the NIL.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you got some guys that's not really making. I mean, they're still making six figures, but it's not like
millions.
Yeah. It's not like 500K and better. So
right.
And then a lot of it too, they're more fundamentally skilled, and that's just due to the byproduct of just the system that lends itself. So obviously, they're kind of, I would say, out the box. They probably help you a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But so I look at it from where like you talk about the big man, like a Wemby, or like or like Luka and all the time. Those guys can do everything. And I think that's another thing too, why essentially you look at like the international growth, but still, it's still a good class. Like, I mean, still, and most of those guys are like the guys that we're talking about are skilled and have that, essentially, that ability to do multiple things. So I think one thing, most of these guys aren't like one trick ponies. Like, I mean, like AJ can do it all. AJ is almost like a Tracy McGrady, like. Boozer, even though he's kind of like his dad, but it's almost like a guard like dad, like not guard like that, but he's like his father, but more of a guard type. Like he can be
Mm-hmm.
more like a Paulo Banchero like type. So it's a lot of guys like Caleb Wilson. It's just like just a freak of nature, and that's one thing too. And he's just so young and just like that talent. As he kind of come of age, and just imagine how he will be in this league. Like so, I think these gonna be some potentially 15 to 20 point per game scores out the gate. I mean, you look at like now this rookie class with Cooper Flag and Knipple. Like I think they're gonna have those type of impacts potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Coach, I want to piggyback on what you said. Mal, if you think about it, the style of offense that the NBA teams are running, it's the same style of offense that they play overseas. Because, like you said, if you think back to what year that was it, they won the American brought back bronze. What year was that? Oh
Was it
four.
04?
Oh, four, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Larry Brown.
if you watch that Redeem Team documentary on Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the
Yeah.
players even said that the style of offense that how they beat us is that they beat us by playing high ball screen and roll with the big man, and it's pretty much like the same style of offense that the NBA is playing now
Mm-hmm.
adopted now, and
Mhm.
that's why I feel like a lot of these teams are looking for the players overseas because now they know the style of offense. They can easily get them over here, plug them in with the team, and it's pretty much a go. Whereas for in college, you got a lot of motion, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
ISO, ISO.
ISO, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff built
Mm-hmm.
off of the Princeton offense.
Yeah.
Then again, also you got some. Also, you see some high ball screen and roll, but
Mm-hmm.
but in college, if you think about it, the floor spacing is not as it's not spaced out as much as it is in the NBA and overseas. It's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of floor spacing where people can move, cut, and do what they got to do.
Right. Right. I mean, more of what I was saying is there's opportunities to make it to the playoffs way more than what it used to be. And I hear you saying you want to tank to get these pieces, but I'm like, you're not working with what you have right now. And anyway, I just feel like it's a little bit more too. Like sometimes they don't want to play certain players. You know what I mean? A lot of little things of that nature that goes on. It's just I feel like when I hear people say tanking, they tend to always look at the players. Like the players don't want to play, or and you hear
That's
some
management.
players say, "Man, I just know if it was me, man, I'd be trying to get in there." And I'm like, yeah, it's. I
Yeah.
don't feel like organizations and even GMs or even coach they don't get a lot of negative darts thrown at them as they should. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like I'm happy that they're
It's
even having
management. Yeah.
conversations.
but
you know.
like you
Yeah, it's
said,
management. Because like even when Adam Silver had that dumb
no, go ahead, coach, go ahead, go ahead.
like when Adam
Mhm.
Silver had that crazy idea about having a tournament to get the number one pick. I'm like, well, the player's not gonna want to do that because that person gonna take my job. Like, so what's the point of me going hard for the organization so they get no more pick and they can replace me? And that's the thing where it's just like, well, yeah, it's the owners. I mean, it boils down to the owners. Like that whole situation that happened with Utah and Orlando, where they rested their starters in the fourth quarter, where they needed them, they could have won that game. So that's management, and that's like I don't even think it's a Will Hardy thing, even though we want to shout our Richmond guys out, but that comes from upstairs. That's management, not the coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing about yes, it is. It's a management call, but the coaches take the brunt of it because they're the ones that's losing their job because of that.
Right. And players aren't
Nico,
getting
It's like
re-signed or getting the money they're supposed to get.
yeah, it's like they're being scapegoated because of a
yep,
decision that's above their pay grade.
like Nico.
Yeah,
Nico, even though he's a GM, but I mean, yeah, same thing goes fair. And that's why I kind of think, in my personal opinion, why Will Hardy's still there at Utah. Because of just the simple fact of The management is allowing this to happen. But yeah, it's they become the scapegoat because we all know the owners are really the ones that are pulling the strings. They're the ones like we was talking about as far as they're not going to be the ones that's going to agree to the fact that I can't raise my ticket prices.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially like with the Wizards, like we got all you can eat seats. You think you're gonna be paying a steady price for that? No, the price always gonna go up.
Right.
They're gonna provide value on top of that. So like, hey, we might suck, but guess what? You can eat and drink all you want. And you think that's gonna stay the same? No. You're gonna end up getting peanut butter jelly sandwiches if you want them to keep their price at the same. You better be careful what you ask for. Get peanut
Now,
butter jelly and fruit punch.
now, if you think about it, now where the coaches, where the coaches do have to take the blame is when you do tank and you start getting those players that you were trying to get in the draft. Now it's up to the coach to put out a good product. Now you're expected to win, but
Mm-hmm.
but you've you've built a culture of losing that is hard to shake. So then you then the coach has to go because he's already built a foundation of losing that the players they are already used to and equipped to doing. That now they need a new voice. They need somebody to come in and rattle the cages and get these guys going, ready to play. And you can't look to the same coach that's been telling y'all, man, just go out there and I'm not saying coaches going out there telling the players like go out there and lose and not try, but if he's not coaching up to the ability that he should be to win these games, how can you expect him to when he get the players that management wanted
Right.
and fought to get? How
Mm-hmm.
can you expect that same coach to lead these guys, this group of men and young men to winning ways? Is like damn near impossible.
I'm going through the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds me of you remember that year Umo Adoka ended up being the coach for Boston, and I think it was around like January, February. They was like damn near in last, and then they end up going to the championship. Nobody even would thought that they would get there. You know what I mean? I'm just we're having this conversation because I hear you want to build your team, but I'm telling you, I don't see a team in the NBA right now that is extremely dominant. That I'm like, ooh, I'm scared of that team. Like even OKC is nasty. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks, even Detroit, um, Cleveland.
San
It's
Antonio.
still San Antonio. It's still a field to me that is a toss up. And if you was able to get a team to put something on the table and everybody click and everybody say this is what we gonna do, we gonna play hard, we gonna play defense, we gonna swing the ball, whatever, they can mess around and be successful. You can see if you really watch, nobody is as that consistent as like somebody was saying the Nuggets, right? And they was like, well, they were winning around Joker, they're missing something. Yeah, he's in Brooklyn right now. Hey, tell them that dude in Brooklyn was there when y'all started winning. Like, you know what I mean? Regardless
Right.
of what y'all
Right.
say. I
Well,
remember the
yeah.
bubble. I remember the bubble. I said on this show that Utah or the Nuggets, somebody's gonna have to break that because they kept going 2-3, 2-3. Utah's not the same team anymore. You know what I mean? The Nuggets, Michael, well, what's his name? It was
Michael Porter
um
Jr. Michael
Michael
Porter
Porter
Jr.
Jr. And they was loyal to him because he had back injuries. It was in that series he said, man, they need to pass the ball because there's more people out there. You know what I mean? And I think he got in trouble. They set him out for like a quarter. You remember that, coach? I think they set
Yeah.
him out for like a quarter or something like that. Well, I hate to say that he is one of those. They used to swing that ball to him and he would knock that three down in the corner. That's all I'm saying. But I just feel like there's nobody that's dominant like those championship dominant teams that we used to have back in the day that always made you scary. Even Even the Billups Detroit team. I just don't see that. Even with San Antonio. And I just think if you put something together right now, you can mess around and make it to the. I mean, look at the Pacers last year. Did you really think they was going to make it to the championship?
Yeah, and to kind of argue your point, that's why I think these teams that are at the bottom thinking that, hey, you know, we're gonna try to do like an OKC where we're just gonna compile
Oh,
because we used to make
mhm.
fun of OKC. I will be
Right,
the first one to have egg on my face, and
right.
all them draft picks they used to all used to
Yep.
hoard. And all they trading for a fifth grader. That fifth grader is Jalen Williams. That fifth grader is Chet Holmgren. That
Yeah,
fifth
you
grader
definitely did
is
that. Yeah, I remember
Asen
that.
Wallace. Like,
Yeah.
so you know what I'm saying? And both Jalen Williams, the one that looked like, yeah, both of them, both Jalen Williams. They were fifth graders, and now look at them.
Yeah,
One an
right.
all-star.
I remember that.
Yeah, I made fun of that, and look what happened. And
I
they about to,
remember that.
and they could potentially be going on a generational run. And I used to make fun of that. Like,
Right.
but now them fifth graders and grew up.
So wasn't it Boston? Not Boston. Wasn't it Brooklyn that used to have all those picks? Remember that one time they had a bunch of picks?
Oh yeah, for that Ray Allen and not Ray Allen, shoot, Paul Pierce and Kevin
Yeah.
Garnett
And
trade.
they fumbled
Yup.
those picks, didn't they?
Oh, did they? Because that's
Nah,
nah. I mean, well,
I mean they got Jalen Brown and what did they get Jalen Brown and Tatum out of
they got
that?
Jalen Brown. Yeah, they got Jalen Brown. Well, because Boston, yeah, Boston got the
Yeah, I'm talking
best
about
of it. Yeah, because Boston, yeah, because they got Jalen Brown. They were able to
Tatum.
get they got technically because they traded for Tatum.
hmm
Remember they had trade down because remember Boston had number one pick. Remember they had
Mm-hmm.
traded down
He traded. Yeah,
with Philly.
Philly. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that created they and you think about it that netted them a championship versus
right.
the two players that were integral parts of their championship run in '08. To
hmm
me, they got it back, and
And,
kudos
and
to what's his face Brad
What
Stevens.
Stevens? Yeah.
Kudos to him. Yeah.
but Danny Ainge was the GM,
Yep.
right? And he's GM.
And
He's
they just did.
ex
Yep.
he's the
Mm,
in
mm-mm.
Utah. Okay.
You talking about the GM for that made them trades?
No. Isn't Danny Ainge? Wasn't he like the president of Boston or the GM?
He was the president at the time. Yeah.
So
Oh well, because Brad Stevens was the coach
he was a
when he
coach,
was.
yeah.
Well, Brad Stevens was a
Right,
coach.
Mm.
Yeah, and Danny Ainge was there. Yeah, because
right.
Danny Ainge was there because
And
because that's remember we talked about the whole situation, him getting rid of Isaiah
right,
Thomas,
right.
the
And so
other
he's
Isaiah
in
Thomas,
Utah
Isaiah.
right now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All
yeah,
right. So Danny Ainge said years ago he felt like Boston could have won a championship in the '80s if they would have traded Mikael Parrish and Larry Bird. But they reached the he said so he would never do that again. He said I would never do that, re-sign older players because they signed like retirement contracts. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean? He's always going to want to in some type of way rebuild. That's why
yeah,
he got he traded Perkins, which pissed off Rondo. You know what I mean?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Yeah, and almost like the Bill Belichick theory. Hey, you got to trade them a year before before they need to be traded. So trade them
right,
beforehand.
right.
But hey,
Yeah. Yeah. But don't trade Tom Brady.
don't let him go to another place. Right,
San
especially the
Francisco.
fact. Right, don't get rid of the guy from San Mateo, like the goat.
He's so stupid.
Like, it's
Right,
like no, don't do that.
right.
Right. Yeah. So, somewhat topic. Really, really sad news out of the National Football League. Where on Saturday, Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Rondale Moore passed away. Chief Todd Bailey of the New Albany, Indiana Police Department stated that the former Vikings wide receiver had a self-inflicted gunshot wound, was found at a garage where at the property that he owns. Moore was a second round draft pick by the Arizona Cardinals in 2021. Traded to the Falcons, where he didn't play for the Falcons. Matter of fact, while he was with the Vikings, I'm at the Vikings, but when he was with the Falcons, he did sustain an injury. Then went to Minnesota where he played. I think he played in the preseason and also had a season-ending injury. Just very very sad news. I think when I first heard it, I was shocked. It was one thing. Like now in this social media world and this news gathering world where you have so many fake stories, so much stuff. So this the sheer fact of hearing the news of this really really surprised me on Saturday night. I'm gonna go around the horn, fellas. I'm gonna go with you first. Ask your thoughts on the passing of Rondale Moore.
First and foremost, prayers and condolences to his family and friends. It was sad, um, sad news to hear. Um, at times like this is when you really start to think about your mental health, um, especially for these professional athletes. I think sometimes people forget that they are human beings. They do have emotions and feelings as well. And like I can only speak for myself. I don't know like what he was going through mentally with dealing with all these injuries so early on in his career. Um, I, if I'm not mistaken, coach, was he ever, did they ever label him as like injury prone or anything like that?
Um, well, recently,
Okay.
obviously, his days going into Purdue, it won't, but
Okay.
pretty much missing 2 seasons, you're gonna get that, unfortunate type of
Okay.
label.
So I'm pretty sure hearing that stuff just, I mean, it really doesn't sit well with you, especially when you have times when you just alone by yourself, in your own thoughts and stuff like that. And sometimes you may, I'm not saying that he was, but sometimes you may scroll Twitter and you read the comments, Instagram, any social media, you read the comments and you start seeing all the negative stuff saying about you. And one you click on one is like then your algorithm starts feeding you more negativity stuff that you keep hearing about yourself. So stuff like that can weigh on your head, especially like I said, going through rehab. You missed 2 full seasons with injuries. You got to rehab again. It's like he probably felt like a never ending process. Um, it's like I said, it's just sad, and I feel for his family and friends. Um, I'm I'm pretty sure some in his family probably thought that this was the beginning of something new as far as lifestyle, with him being a professional athlete, bringing in and money they may have never seen before. And it's just like I said, it's just a sad thing. And all I can say is sometimes it's good. Sometimes you need those people to like to check on you, just to be like, hey man, how you doing? Just want to check on you, make sure you're doing okay. Because like I said, we're all human, regardless if you're a professional athlete or not. You're still a human being first that has feelings and emotions.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what you got, Maui?
Same thing. Everything that X say, I'm 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 backing. Sending love, strength, um, to his family, friends, loved ones. You know, we're just starting to put it's pressure, man. There's a lot of pressure on you. Don't know what people really going through. Everybody's into what they on, and you know, got to check on everybody, man. It's real sad. Once I realized, I was like, oh man, that was old boy from Cardinals I liked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, when you are a professional athlete or you make a decision that you want to play professional sports, it's such a dedication, and everybody around you actually understands that dedication that comes with that. Um, and when you get hurt, you get a contract, you get hurt, and you got to constantly keep getting there, and then you kind of like the coach the coaches and stuff like that try to give you the insight, but they gotta keep pushing forward. You know what I mean? And you have to figure out, especially the professionals, you have to figure out a way to keep yourself going, and this and that. Sometimes you don't even be 100%. You just want to get back out there. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it had anything to do with that, but it's just everybody, man. Like we really once a month, every once in a while, like it's simple text to check on one another, man. Because you never know. Like I mean, to be honest with you, man, like I deal with that every day. You know what I'm saying? If it pops in my head, what I'm saying, I'll text somebody or blah blah blah. Because you never know, man. Once last year I lost my grandmother. So like you just never know, man. One day they're here, one day they're gone. So man, just want to send love and strength to them. You know what I mean? Um, I think the NFL is a very powerful um, business, and I just believe that they have right. Probably the last since 2020, I feel like therapy and things of that nature has been a very popular thing, especially with black men. You know what I mean? So um, I really hope that they through this they can figure out a way to move forward for it. You know what I mean? I remember I shouldn't. So Paul George, he had a lot of injury issues at one time, and I remember this. I was watching this pod, and it was actually a porn star, and she was saying that a lot of athletes she helps give them motivation, especially when they're dealing with their injuries. You know what I mean? Of course, the first thing you think about is your mind is in the gutter. But then I started really thinking about there was a movie with Queen Latifah with Common Sense, and
Yeah.
once she helped, she was his physical therapist, but it was a mental thing that came where she was like he's got to trust his knee, like you know what I mean. It's just psychologically, it's a lot of things that come on with those injuries. You know what I mean? Hey, I throw Red Bull, and I'm telling you, I tried to make sure I walk a certain way, like what I'm saying, uh, getting off the bus, getting off the van a specific way, because I feel like if I hurt myself, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? And I'm just saying that because that's a lot of pressure on you. You know what I mean? Like I almost got in a car wreck, and first thing I thought about, something happened to me, who gonna take care of everything? But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna send love and strength to his family and recovery and
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah. Like I said, hearing the news about this Saturday is really shocking. It is
Yeah.
heartbreaking. And once again, like you said, to echo everyone's sentiment, pretty much sending condolences to to his family, friends, the organization, especially the Minnesota, you know, um, that organization, obviously not no stranger to as far as the loss in the last like 2 years or so. So it's just one of those things where you look at it and it's just one of those things where being an empath, it just show you look at just the simple fact of, could you imagine being essentially 25 and having literally almost, you having two season ending injuries in consecutive seasons. So you just think to yourself, and to be that young and to think to yourself like, and I know there's probably was some moments in his mind like, this may be it for me. Obviously, and then considering the fact that he was going to be a free agent coming up and having a career, not career, but a season in the injury in the preseason. And it's just one of those things where I know that weighs a lot on him, man. I'm not necessarily saying that that's the cause of it or what have you, but I know those just so thoughts, like you said, being in a position to provide and your livelihood could potentially, essentially can be halted or be, or can change, especially at that so young of an age. Because, like you said, the dedication of it, you don't just get to the NFL by just BSing. You put
Mm-hmm.
100% into it, and then the fact that you having these setbacks, that's tough. And like you said, and it's not just lends itself to just football players. Like you said, it's to everybody. I think if anybody that was in a situation where they were dedicated in a craft, and and you're derailed in this type of situation, it can weigh on you. And the thing about it is, like you said, the whole fact of checking on him and talking. I think one thing, I know you kind of talked about him out, as far as the advance of mental health and what have you. I think what the Players Association should do, in my personal opinion, I know they do offer counseling services on a team basis and what have you, but I think it needs to be independent. I think it's almost
Mm-hmm.
similar to like kind of how they do the concussion protocol, where that these guys should get
Oh yeah.
get the mental health. They get counselors that are outside the NFL, because think about it. If I'm a guy, and I think about it even in my line of work, where do I necessarily want like an on campus type situation where, if I need to get help, do I really want it? Because that might go back to somebody, and that may be something that may be said about me, but it's
Mm-hmm.
unspoken. Like, hey,
Right.
if I'm telling you I'm going through an issue, and my issue, they'll be like, well, I can't put you for a promotion because you've expressed your feelings about certain things, and you have a somewhat of an imbalance about something.
Mm-hmm.
Versus in this case, if they can go somewhere that's independent where they don't share that information, because I can imagine, you know if there was an outside independent counsel that can help you with that, and it doesn't go back to the team, and it's confidential, then a lot of guys I think will go to it. Because you think about it, like, I'm not going in anybody else's head, but I'm just giving you an example. If I'm just a player in the league, and I'm dealing with depression, and I'm dealing with anxiety, and it's known to the coaches, to the staff and everything, and I'm going against a guy that don't document his problem. He may have the same issues, but it's not documented.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to go, and we have the same type of numbers or same type of production. They're going to go for him because he doesn't have any, quote unquote, he hasn't seen us or what have you. So to me, I think that the player association definitely need to lean towards having independent counsel when it comes to, like, having independent mental health facilities for these players, so where it doesn't necessarily where the information doesn't go back to the team. Like, it's outside of the realm of the facility. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, hey, you go to this person. This person has no affiliation with the league, has nothing. That whatever, it's almost like how in us, as I would say normal folks, but more people who go to see a counselor, or
Mm-hmm.
seek help, it's outside of the realm of, it's through your insurance. So it's not like
Right.
something that's going to go back to your employee. But they also do have programs, like I told you, where that you can talk to someone, so uh yeah, as long as to me, it just has to be off site, off where, these counselors, they'll have no bearing on
You're
or
right.
any type of relationship with the teams or the NFL that's associated with it. So, almost to a point where I don't even want them to know that you play in the National Football League unless you talk about it.
Right. It's just to throw out there. I was watching an interview with Ricky Williams. Same issue. You know what I mean? I think Mendenhall. I remember the running back for the Steelers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
both of them was talking about like they had to, step away and really go get, I'm saying, some therapy, and and it was able to help them, whatever they had to like let go and be able to get into other things. You know what I mean? Took some of that pressure off. But good take, man.
But like you said, that's another one too, where you see how we have kind of changed that narrative. Because remember, a lot of people looked at those two, and I'm glad you brought those two up as a case example. People
Hmm.
looked at them as crazy. And but I'm saying, but to show you like
right,
how
right,
right, and it's almost like they were like the like malcontents, but in theory they needed the help. There
right,
was nothing wrong with them. They just needed help from the outside.
right.
Now, if they would have probably seeked it on the NFL level, which they probably did, and that's why people looked at them and they thought they were crazy.
And
So that's what, yeah,
that's a great take. That's a great take, Coach. Really is. That's a
yeah,
great take, B. I didn't even think like that could be used against
yeah,
you, right?
right, yeah. And I thought about it. Even I thought about it because obviously that's it, not a situation, but like as far as a situation where hey, you can if you have this going on, you can reach out to this, in a setting that's in the facility. And I'm like, oh no, because no, I don't trust that because what if something end up happening and I'm up, they're up for promotion, whatever, and then they're like, well, yeah, he came to see me in March. He has this and the third going on with him.
Right.
No, it's just like everything. Just like if I have an illness or a sickness, I'm just going to get the proper help that I need. If I break a ligament, I'm gonna go and get it repaired. I have a situation, I'm gonna try to get it repaired. And it's not
Right.
nothing, it should be nothing that should be against you. I put it that way. So something that you should be held against, or something that will hold you back uh, from advancing, as far as and just in your personal and career development. So,
Right.
but yeah. But yeah, it was just really tough news to hear about, especially like I know we had talked about him. I know um, either it was first year or second year, and when we did the Arizona Cardinals preview, we talked about how we thought he was going to. I definitely remember I was like, man, if you put him in a slot, as far as just the endless possibilities with him in the slot. I remember him like Hollywood Brown there. I got Greg Deutsch. So even and I don't even think Greg Deutsch was there then at the time. But either way, it's something that really, really, really shocked me. To hear this passing, and yet again, we've just have had some countless examples of young guys passing away, in this fashion, especially in the NFL, and it just shows you, man. Like, yeah, it's tough. And like you said, we all are human people. And yet again, this is people look at like these NFL players every time. And I hate this every time. And like you said, and you hear the comments, actually be like, "Oh well, you're playing a Chelsea game. Everything should be good." No, this granted, yeah, they're playing a child's game, but they're still dealing with corporate aspects of it. So it's just like like right. So okay, Tom
Crazy.
1945 at gmail.com that makes that comment, that random comment. But I know you're going through something. Yeah, I know you. Oh, I know your quarter one numbers are fucked up, and something's going on in your life. So it's just like it's just like that. So we all go through something. So guess what? Like,
Right.
don't just think. And that's another one. That's another way I think how people. That's their coping mechanism. Oh well, you get my life. My life is a shit, but I'm gonna shit on somebody who messed up my parlay. Oh well, you're playing a kids game. Everything should be fine. No, no,
Right.
no, 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 no.
And that's the why. That's why y'all birthed all these athletes having these podcasts and these shows now, so they can speak for themselves. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you learn that there's way more because there's a lot of stuff they had when they were young that they played sports to try to cover it up or use that energy to push themselves. They get the bread and and the celebrity, and then it's even worse because they have to deal with all of that from their past, and you know what I mean. And now it might be, drinking, their leg hurts, or they might be hitting pills. It might be a lot of stuff that's going on, and it's not a good place. You know what I mean? Because now you got so much money that you numb yourself. Then it's worse. Now your money missing. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Your closest friends are stabbing you in your back. And
And yeah. And versus now, you live in this, in this social media bubble where,
Right.
granted, okay, I mess up on Sunday, okay, I'll get a bunch of hate mail when I get back to the facility on Wednesday.
Right.
No, you're getting instant feedback the moment you put your phone on. The
Yep.
moment before I even could take a shower, people are ready to talk crap about me. Compared to, even though people get hate mail, but at least, hey, it's a few days later because obviously people had to actually write it, mail it, and then send it. Versus here, it's just instantaneous.
Instantaneous.
And
Yep.
I couldn't imagine that. Like I know, like certain aspects, like we all have had bad days, especially from a work standpoint. And just could you imagine, like somebody just like a, like we have bad days at work. Get off at 6 o'clock. Johnny 815 sends you a hate email at like 6:15. Like, dude, I just got in the car. Like, what the fuck? Like seriously, like, just think about it. I mean, when you really, really sit down and think about it, how demoralizing could that be? I mean, you think about it. You have a game, like, something happened in the game. You you can barely get in the shower before somebody say some crap to you. Versus here, hey,
Mm-hmm.
in the normal world, I can drop the ball. No one knows except for only a handful of people that I work with. But if you have a bad day, it just chalk it up. But that's what I'm saying. That's why that's why I empathize with the current athlete, because yes, they get more money, it's more flash, this and third, but you got to think about all the stuff that they have to deal with instantly, and you want it, like especially when you interviewing players and coaches after the fact, you want to give them grace. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you should just ask them hard end questions. Like, no, like they're still humans. They're still processing this emotion of this loss or this win. So, just one of the things where it's just like it's tough. Like, and that can wear on you. And, that's why I say that's why have so much respect for athletes and coaches like I do now, because it's
Right.
so different compared to, yesteryear, when we were kids, because if I had an issue with a player, hey, I actually had to actually do the labor of writing something, folding it into an envelope, getting a stamp, and mailing it. And they won't get it for a few days.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Man. It's crazy. Sending love though. Love and strength to his
Always,
family.
always, always.
Always, yeah. And yep, it's tough, but NFLPA, give these guys some independent outside the NFL facility, mental health resources that's outside the NFL. So this won't go against them, because yeah, that's something that I'm like, I wouldn't trust it. Like if it's
Yeah,
give them something independent.
because like you said, Coach, that the disparaging messages and stuff and like that is not gonna stop.
Yeah,
It's
and
not gonna stop.
right. And this whole thing of, oh, you need to be tough. Like they said when I was a little boy, sticks and stones may hurt, but words can't. That's bullshit. Words hurt. I
Mm.
will be the first one, because I'm telling you, even here sometimes when I talk about certain stuff, and some people talk shit about me, that shit kind of affect me sometimes. I'd be like, yo, I like, because because you're human, and it's just like, because
Mhm.
people will just be talking out of nonsense, and it's just like, yo, like and
People feed
it's
on
one thing.
negativity more than anything.
Yeah,
Even if
and
you
Mm-hmm.
could
that's
be
the
the most
thing.
positive person. Like I told a
Yeah,
young lady today, she was just talking. I said, man, do you know how fine you really are? And she is. And she
yeah,
automatically, and I did it on purpose so she could see how she criticized things about her. And everybody thinks she's fine. But she just automatically
hmm,
ping, ping, ping. And I was like, yo, I gave you something positive. You automatically just start talking negative about yourself. You know what I mean? And
right,
it's like, that's our issue. Everything, it's like negativity moves us rather than positive. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and the same thing. Like you can have 10 positive comments, but
That
that
one.
damn Johnny 1966
Mm-hmm.
at gmail.com will just say something, and you're just like, you know what? Fuck off.
Right. Right.
Like seriously, like it's just, I mean,
Right.
it get to a point like, and that's just how our nature is, and it's unfortunate because, like you said, even we all are positive, but then sometimes that negativity creeps in because, like you
Yeah.
said, that one comment will set you off. Everybody can say you're great, you're this, oh, you're doing this, but let that damn Johnny 1966 say something about you. You revert back to some old characteristics.
Right.
Mhm.
But I swear, man, but they do it. But like you said, and that's why it's just so tough. Like in this day and age, to why it's important to have that mental health. To have mental health and doing all this type of stuff because this stuff, I said I could not imagine like being like I will give my mom and my late father credit, but them
Mm-hmm.
birthing me in the late in the mid 80s, because I couldn't imagine being like 20 some years old now and living in
Right.
a world where my life started in social media versus being an adult and then adapting to social media. And I just couldn't imagine it. I mean, at least when social media came, I had an ounce of maturity, but I couldn't imagine like starting social media like in middle school in my formative years. Like
Right.
it's kind of weird you because I think even now, 20 years in, it's like I'm ready to just take a social media break. And
Right.
it's just
You,
it's
you,
crazy.
one of my favorite shows. I know we got to move on, but one of my favorite shows was Entourage, and
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to keep your circle tight, B. And the reason why, if you really watch it and how they was homeboys, you start finding out little things, and then when the person that was the creator, the ones that got him, that once he start going through like mental health issue, everything had to stop, and everybody went to them. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of them got to do. Like people used to make fun of rappers and stuff like that. They used to bring their entourage on the stage. And a lot of it's because you got to keep your circle. You really do got to keep your circle tight because you might need to call somebody. You know what I'm saying? You might need to do this. You might need to do that. So you don't have to be in them circumstances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't never
Yeah.
not answer my phone. Sometimes, you be tired, but you just never know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really tough, very tough hearing that news for sure. And like you said, just keep them in prayer and just and send our heartfelt condolences, man, because it's tough out here for sure. So we're around. We're around. I found a topic for the night. We're going around the horn, fellas. We'll get this week's game ball. What you got, X?
Um, I'm game. I'm gonna go with Seth Trimble, North Carolina Tar Heels. Stepped up big last night against NC State. I mean not NC State, Louisville.
Oh yeah, that's the guy that hit that game-winning shot against Duke, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Lock in, X.
Oh yeah.
I hope
Just
my
let them
boss
know.
watching this. Yeah, he's a dookie.
Just let
Hope
the
my
people
boss
know.
watching this.
And we're
Right,
gonna get that
right.
sweep. We're trying to get that sweep next Saturday. You feel me? So
Uh,
hey, let's do it. All right, what you got, Mallory?
man, I'm gonna give it to my man Ryan Garcia. Man, he went in there and did his thing. It was a great card from Gary Russell. It was just a great card. I really was very satisfied with the card. But Ryan Garcia went in there. First two punches knocked Burrows down. Um, and with all his loss against Rolio, I'm sorry, and then when he beat Devin Hanley, which I thought was probably about the boxing was transitioning, and they said that he was on steroids, which guess what? Maui don't believe that, but it's all good. Just let you get I don't believe it, but it's all good. So I want to give it to Ryan Garcia, man. It was a dominating fight.
Yeah, I gotta give it to the U.S. men's hockey team getting that gold
Yeah.
medal, 2-1 victory over Canada
Mm-hmm.
on the 46th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. So this is their
Yep.
first gold medal since February 22nd, 1980. I wasn't even born. 46 years in the making, and what a finish. It was to get up at 8 o'clock on a Sunday to watch that game from start to finish was it lived up to the hype. It was amazing. Now, and also shout out to the women's hockey team as well, getting the gold medal as well too. But yeah, man, wow, for us to win the gold medal, first time since 1980, it's crazy. But shout
I'm
out to the
hooked.
U.S. men's hockey team. Yeah,
You ever been to a hockey game before, Coach?
I have not.
Oh man, let me tell you honestly,
got
it
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
B, yeah, man. Like it's a great show. It's a great show, and then like if you really start paying attention to detail, you start realizing,
Mhm.
okay, if you can skate, because it seemed like it takes a lot of them to turn around. But if you can get somebody that really knows how to skate, they can turn around fast. Like I'm telling you, man, it was real cool. It was real cool to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I
Maybe
mean?
I go. Maybe we'll have a boys' night out at Cap One. Maybe in
I've
case
heard
Cap.
great things about there. I'm there. I heard great things, man. Like a lot of people say they used to go. So I heard great things about it. So I'm
Yeah, Cap
down. You
One.
know me.
Yeah, Cap One is the spot for sure.
You know what I mean? Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Cap One.
You been to the casino yet?
In Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
negative. No, not yet.
I'm just messing with you. I delivered it.
Oh yeah, soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout. What is it?
Virginia
Live,
Live.
Virginia
Yeah.
Live. Yeah, Virginia Live.
Right
Yeah.
right off 95, B. You can't miss it.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Maryland Live over there in the Rondale Mills. So, well, yeah, hey, I don't think I know they're gonna have no mall like the one in Maryland, but yeah, but yes, but I'm happy though. I was really hoping the city was gonna get that,
Oh, they
and
will.
I'm still pissed that they didn't vote. They didn't vote in favor for that. I was like,
They will.
They're gonna regret it.
No,
they're
they're
gonna
they're
vote.
no. I don't. I think they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're gonna see how it rocks in Petersburg, and they're gonna put one up there. Let me tell you why. Because a lot of people don't like to travel like they used to. Like we remember when we used to go. Well, I live closer to Petersburg, but we used to go to Shockoe Bottom and blah blah blah. They ain't doing that now, bro. Like people want to stay on their side of town. They want to stay in their own area. So I
Oh
believe
no, yeah, because
I
they
believe it's
voted
coming.
they voted against it twice.
Yeah, but it's here now. It's
I
here
hate it,
now.
especially for a resident in the city who voted for it and for it not to happen. I'm like, man, why y'all doing this, man? Like, why?
Watch what Maui telling y'all. Watch. I give
I
him.
mean, yeah, I hope. And
Yeah.
the issue is the people that live in the western part of the city of Richmond. Get them out as far as the votes. I mean, I'm just because they're the ones that was against it because they were like, oh, because of the crime and all. Because that's
Yeah, they all say that. They all say that.
but they said that when I was working at Rosie's, they were saying that all the
Right.
time when we was when we had first
Right.
started there, and I remember
Right.
we was going to New Kent. They like, oh man, y'all gonna have to man, it's gonna a lot of stuff going down. I mean, ain't nothing really go down. Like I mean, it's stuff went down, but I mean, it's security. So yeah, there were fights, but guess what? The fights got broken up, man. I mean, dude,
Yeah. It was fights when it was Chuck E. Cheese. Y'all remember that?
it's a fight everywhere. It probably was a fight at Kmart. When it was Kmart, right? That's what I'm saying.
When it was
That's what I'm
Kmart.
saying. But that's a part of life. Like you're not
Right.
going to avoid violence when you have people congregating together. They're always going to be a meeting of the minds that might be met with a fist.
I think they're using because of the MGM Grand. The MGM Grand is different. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's going to be like there, especially you got one in Port. You got it spread out. You know what I mean? They got one in Dansville. You know what I'm saying? So I believe they got this one in Petersburg. Once it gets really established, I think the voting is going to change. That's just my take on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So people from there don't have to come to Petersburg. That's why I'm saying it.
yeah, because they messed up a golden opportunity, man. That still lives in my mind rent free. That they won
And
against that
Rosie's is
twice.
everywhere. Rosie's is just popping up like 7-Elevens in Northern Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's the thing. You can have, you can have that here in Richmond. You can have, but you know,
It's all good.
people just want, and that's the thing about it. People, you want change, but then when you got opportunities, oh well, we ain't got no money, and it's like all dumb stuff. Oh, well, we should get rid of these cameras. But I'm like, that's what helps save people lives. Like, I mean, I do that tonight. We chilling. We chilling. Yeah, I'm acting like I'm at the city council meeting. That's what I
Right,
need to be
right.
going to for real, for real. But anyway, all right. So, final thoughts before we head on out, and then any upcoming projects what you got going on, and X plug your next plug your pod.
Right.
Yeah.
X.
IG is X_J_SR. Like Coach said, I just started a new podcast, a wrestling podcast called Dream Bookers Podcast.
Mm. Mm. You take auditions.
Hey man, look, man, we'll welcome anybody onto the show, man.
You got to let me know. You ain't gonna believe how big of a wrestling fan I am.
Okay.
Word.
Hey, look, most definitely, like I said, man,
Mhm.
we talk wrestling, but we talk about it in a different way. We do dream booking, like podcast called
Okay.
Dream Bookers Podcast, where we take
Mhm.
like, for example, we take modern superstars and we match them up against guys from the glory days, and we just start. And we pretty much just start breaking down, giving our analysis on like how the match and stuff would go, and then at the end we'll predict winners and stuff like that. But we
Oh,
try
that
to
is awesome. For real.
appreciate it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
All right.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah.
Yeah.
You take auditions.
Anything else you got going on, X?
Nah, man, waiting on the women's A10 tournament.
Next week.
Yes, sir. It's here.
I can't wait. Yeah, I know, right? All right. What? Yeah, what you got, Mo?
With the 18 tournament, like when do they usually play? I would like to come and check some stuff out with you, you know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna be working, right?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's starting next Wednesday to next Sunday, which is what the 4th through the 8th. But I'm only gonna be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
Due to
And that's during the
my
day, right?
so Wednesday, I think it's 2 games. From I think one starts at like 12 and then 2:30.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday are 4 games each. So the first game is at 11. I think the last one is like at 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. The last game probably about 7. Because you got 11 o'clock, 1:30. Then I think it's like a little break. So it's like a 4 and then 6. Something of that nature. But it'll be a little bit off because, obviously the games don't go off as, it's still like a 30-minute, I think, in between games.
Okay.
And
we'll talk
then,
about it later.
so Thursday and Friday is like that. Then Saturday, it's 11 o'clock game and then it's 11:40. So it's 11 o'clock game and then like 1:30, 1:40 for the second game.
Okay.
And then the championship game is at 4 o'clock.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
You want me to go ahead?
Yeah.
All right. Great show. Happy to be back. I just want to let you know some of those shows that we canceled. I worked really hard and I sat here and wrote all this stuff on paper. And I was just like, you know what, whatever. I'm gonna go get me a Whopper. You know what I mean?
Technology, man. Technology,
no, it's all good.
I'm
just messing with you. Great show, man. I'm happy to be back. Both of y'all, I know y'all have other ventures y'all have to do. sending love for y'all for that. Yeah, man, everything is on my end. Stuff is popping up. I got some new stuff that's coming up. Still working something about this show. The actual host, she just got back from vacation, so I'm gonna talk to her some more and see if we can move forward. But yeah, man, and if I can figure out how to get on this audition, I might be on another podcast. Ain't gonna pay no name, but I'll be here, baby.
Hey, look, man. Open invitation, man. No auditions needed.
No, shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to our guy Rob.
Hold on, let me fire my agent. Hey, man, you can go ahead and go. But yeah, that's what's up.
Yo. Yeah. Final thoughts. Yeah, once again, another great show. Pretty much social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. This week, probably this VCU, their final 2 home games next week. Well, Saturday and then Tuesday. So, and then heading back on the other side of town for 3 days. See, who going to Duluth? Anybody from Lexi going to Duluth for the ACC?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
When I first heard them going to Duluth, I'm like, why y'all going to Duluth, Georgia?
Yeah, I didn't understand it, but I don't get why you taking out of Greensboro.
Right. I was like, when I heard that, I was like, because the only really team is Georgia Tech. I mean, that's and Duluth is like in a
I don't think Georgia Tech and Duluth is close.
Like close, right? That's what I'm saying. Like it's
a nice little hike, especially with that traffic down there. It's a nice little hike.
Right. So I'm just like, when I heard about that last year, I'm like, why would they put it in Duluth, Georgia?
I have no clue.
But this is me talking. I mean, I still love the Atlantic Coast Conference. Y'all. They gave us the dates for kickoff, so I was like, okay, this is a good sign.
Huh? They did?
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be July 15th through the 17th.
Wow.
3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
And they pushed it up a week.
Mm-hmm. I know, and I'm glad. I'm telling you, man, it's so crazy because I had to put in a bid for weeks I need to be off for work, and that email came like 2 or 3 days before I had to submit my time because I was gonna do July 20th through the 24th. I was gonna do the whole week, but then I like, oh, so it's a week. I'm glad I found out about that before I put in my time. Cause man, I'm trying to get some Pop-Tarts with ice cream Pop-Tarts.
Not changed. It's not changed. Hey, where my Pop-Tarts at? I know I'm leaving.
But X and Toro, they the ones that put me on to it, and Travis. They like, man, they was giving up Pop-Tarts. I was like, oh, for real?
Pop-Tarts? Are you serious?
Now, I swear to you, I've never had a Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich before until last year.
No shit.
And they didn't tell me about it.
Hold on, we still recording. My bad.
Right. So, what y'all talking about?
Oh man. Well, we just plug Pop-Tart, man.
Big time. I know. They don't want telling me about it. I'm like, man, y'all.
So it's a Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If I can remember, I think they sold them in Walmart.
Yeah, I think it's at Walmart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the only flavors that I know of that they had was the
chocolate. And cinnamon on it.
Yeah, the chocolate and the brown sugar
cinnamon.
cinnamon.
Brown sugar cinnamon. Brown sugar
Yeah.
cinnamon. Yeah.
If you'd have said strawberry, it'd have been a problem.
I mean, we don't know that because it's been a while, so they may have added those other flavors.
Yeah, boy. But
So-
then you lucky you didn't go that last day. ESPN, you know, because that's when they was advertising the ESPN app and they gave us popcorn. I'm like, popcorn.
Wow.
I'm like, you gonna advertise a $30 app and just give us popcorn? Like, come on, man. Come on. I'm like, come on, dog. Come on, dog. Yeah. But yeah, man. So yeah, man, this wraps up this week's Couch Coach Live, and we'll see you guys next week under the lights. And we're out.
You're welcome.
Peace.